when you're attending trade shows like NADA, like Digital Dealer, NADA is coming up very soon, I would encourage you to go in with an open mind. I'm not encouraging you to dump your provider. I'm not encouraging you to not dump your provider. What I am encouraging you to do is go in with an open mind. Set up meetings with different vendors and learn about their products. Even if you have no intention of switching from your current vendor, even if you think your vendor is the best vendor out there and I'm not going to switch, I'm not going anywhere, that's great. I'm sure your vendor would love to hear that. Go and listen to other pitches. Go see what other products are out there doing. You don't have to buy anything at NADA. 9 times out of 10, the deals that they give at NADA, they'll extend out through the rest of February, if not at least for a week or two after NADA. So you don't have to make a decision while you're sitting there. So, but if I'm not changing vendors, I love where I am at, I have a great rep, or whatever your reasoning is for staying where you're at, still go listen to pitches, and I'll tell you why. That's how you learn the advancements going on in the market. Because your company, as great as you may think they are, they may not have a little bit of the secret sauce that another company has, or they might not be talking about TikTok advertising yet, or may not be looking at the options for ChatGPT advertising yet. But find out what's out there. Find out what's available. And then you can go back to your favorite vendor and you can say, hey, look, I listened to the pitch from this company. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, but I did listen to their pitch and I found out they're doing ABC. Are you guys, what steps are you taking to do ABC, and why or why not? Because there are some vendors out there who will dive into, let's just take TikTok advertising, have dove into TikTok advertising and think they have success with it. Me personally, frankly, I think organic pushes a lot more engagement than paid advertising does. That's just me. That's my opinion. With ChatGPT, that's coming soon. That's not out yet. But what is the company? What are other companies doing? Are they already in discussions? Are they talking with ChatGPT? What's the process? What does that look like? Is there an ETA? What do they know about it? And that's just 2 of them. I mean, the word of the day right now is AI and SEO. That's pretty much what's been on the forefront of a lot of my dealers' minds, because more and more people are utilizing ChatGPT to do vehicle searches. So the SEO we have on our site, it really matters. I guarantee you that's coming up at this show. There's going to be discussions from SEO vendors about AI and about what optimizing your website and optimizing the amount of SEO value you have in your website can do for your store. So have those discussions, meet with those people. There's some great companies out there, don't even have a booth, but they're going to be at the show. Seek them out, find them, and pick their brain about different ideas on SEO. What is the optimum SEO? What should I be looking for from my current website vendor to optimize the SEO value of my site, to make sure that I'm appearing in those ChatGPT searches, to make sure I'm appearing in regular organic searches. You can tell yourself by just going to analytics, and if organic is not in the top 3, then you don't have enough SEO value on your website, period. Now, barring that you've just changed website providers like a month or less ago, you should be, organic traffic should be the top 3 at the very least. It should be number 1, but it should definitely be in the top 3. Anyway, other vendors to look at. If you're considering an offsite BDC, why? Why are you considering that? Are you considering that because no one's holding your people in the store? You have enough people in the store, but nobody's holding them accountable to a process? That's the wrong reason to get an offsite BDC. The right reason to get an offsite BDC is I don't have the manpower in the store to properly manage the phone calls or the leads that are coming in, so things are getting missed because my salespeople are too busy working with current customers or previous customers. So make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, because using an offsite BDC for just to, as a Band-Aid over a bad processes in your store, I mean, that's just like taking lighter fluid and pouring on a fire. And you're not going to use them as a long-term solution. You're using them as a short-term Band-Aid, and that's going to give you more headache than it is solutions. But if you are understaffed, if you are underpowered, and you still have the amount of volume of leads and volume of calls coming in, 100% use an offsite BDC. Incorporate that into your overall static costs and keep them on long term. That's when they really shine, is when they get to know your people, get to know your product, get to know your geography, and then they can really shine for you. What's the last part? So the last part is within the fixed ops realm. So I would largely say that fixed ops is probably the most underserviced part of the dealership with regards to digital and anything. The specials page for service on the website is probably usually largely forgotten about. The schedule service page is probably the most important, and the one that we actually all make sure works all the time. So with Xtime or any of those other digital scheduling tools, online scheduling tools, that's probably the only thing that we really pay attention to. But I mean, I'll tell you what I used to tell my customers when they would ask me for a better deal on their car. You know what? I'd love to give you a better deal, but honestly, this isn't what makes money for the dealership. There's a reason why the service department is 2/3 to 3/4 of the real estate of a dealership, and the sales department is just like a couple of little desks over here, because we don't make the money for the store. Service department is what keep the lights on. They are what keep the doors open. That's why they measure things called fixed ops absorption rate. So pay attention to the vendors that are out there and what they can do for your fixed ops on a digital side, because that is really highly underserved with regard to any kind of digital advertising. That's on the website, that's on any paid advertising, social advertising, any of those avenues. I see fixed ops being the single most underserved part of the dealership. So I would highly encourage you to step up the game with fixed ops, because if your service department is not over 100% fixed ops absorption, that's the reason to throw a little bit of love their way. And direct mail pieces, that's great. I see a lot of people saying, oh, we do plenty of direct mail. That's awesome. That's fantastic. What are you doing for digital advertising? What does the website have on it for fixed ops? So those are some solutions you can seek out at NADA. If you're not already employing those, or you don't have any idea where to go with that, that would be what I would look at in NADA, is some fixed ops solutions. And like I said, same thing applies at the beginning. Go and listen to other vendors, what they have to say. What do they utilize? If you love your vendor, your paid advertising vendor or your website vendor, say, hey, look, I was at NADA and I talked to Dealer Inspire and they said they could do X, Y, and Z. Now, you're not Dealer Inspire, Mr. Website Provider, but I'd like to see if you can do X, Y, and Z. And have that conversation with your current vendor. Because we all know changing vendors is a pain in the butt. It really is. God help you have to change DMS vendors. But if you can take that information, what you've learned, take it back to your vendors now, and if you really like them, give them the chance to kind of work for you. Give them the chance to say, yeah, we do that. Let me find out more about how we can push that to the next level for your account. But if you don't like your vendors, same rules apply. Don't go to NADA to sign a bunch of contracts and sign up for a bunch of stuff you don't know how it works. Ask the right questions. Ask the timeline. Ask the timeline from launch to success, to when do I know whether this is not the right solution for this, or this absolutely is the right solution for us. What's the expected timeline to measure success? Can you give me some other stores that are the same OEM as myself, who aren't in the same competitive market, and I can call them and ask for their results with your product? Different questions like that kind of root down to the core of it. Anyway, have a good week if you're headed to NADA. Happy selling.